capacity to improve greatly his powers of thinking. Indeed, to grow adept at that most unusual hobby and think more like Aquinas. Perhaps more than ever, we need to develop our capacities for clear thought on the things that always matter the most, such as the existence and the nature of God, and how we should live our lives and relate to our church, families, neighbors, and fellow citizens. We live in a day when many young people declare themselves nones, people with no religious affiliation, amidst a barrage of propaganda that people who value thinking should choose reason and science over faith and religion, with the latter presented as matters of blind belief, sentimental tradition, and remnants of primitive superstition. In our time, St. John Paul II stated elegantly how faith and reason, properly understood, are not at all opposed, but are like two wings on which the human spirit rises to the contemplation of truth. Nearly 8 centuries ago, St. Thomas Aquinas, the angelic doctor, showed us many ways to obtain maximum lift from both of those wings. And that is what this book is about. As for what we might call the wing of reason, Thomas knew well that the powers of thought that arise from our human nature are also aided by art and diligence. In other words, intelligent thought and accurate thinking are not just capacities that you and I have in some fixed measure, but are flexible potentials that can be built, improved, and actualized by training and practice, diligence, in the right methods, art being short for artificial or man-made. Your powers of memory, for example, or of logical reasoning, are fluid capacities that you can build and improve by using them in the right ways. As we proceed through this book, we will learn the ways provided in the writings of St. Thomas and practice them as we go. As for the wing of faith, Thomas knew as well that grace does not destroy nature, but perfects it. Natural reason should minister to faith as the natural bent of the will ministers to charity. Further, when a man's will is ready to believe, he loves the truth he believes. He thinks out and takes to heart whatever reasons he can find in support thereof. And in this way, human reason does not exclude the merit of faith, but is a sign of greater merit. Clearly, then, Thomas knew that God gave us reason for a reason, to find truth in the world around us, and to serve the faith that will guide us to truth in eternity. It is up to us, then, to build on our natural thinking capacities, both by developing and practicing the arts that perfect them on a natural plane, and by becoming more open to the graces from above that will raise them to heavenly heights. How can you think like Aquinas? We can all come to think more like Aquinas in 3 steps. 1. By reading and reflecting on what he wrote specifically about thinking, study, and the nature of perfection of the human intellect. 2. By observing the methods of thinking St. Thomas employed in his great writings, such as his over 3 million-word Summa Theologica and many others. 3. By practicing what he preached and taught through simple exercises included throughout this book. As for the first step, our guiding template for this book will be the brief, elegant, delightful letter of St. Thomas to Brother John on how to study. We will examine this extraordinary letter in its entirety, fleshing out our reflections, in keeping with Step 2, with insights drawn from St. Thomas's massive body of other great works, and from works of great modern-day Thomas, students of the philosophical and theological wisdom of St. Thomas Aquinas. We will also mine some important events from Thomas's life story to see how he lived out the principles he taught others. As for Step 3, each chapter will conclude with simple read, reflect, and remember exercises designed to help us absorb, retain, and expand upon each chapter's golden